right away on the call from AJ Odo. And you know, I have to say again, the venue here and the screen and everything, thank you very much for the Vietnamese Association for Orthodontists. This is an amazing place. Thank you very much. When I see this, that's so great to be here. Good. My intention is to share my visions for our specialty. You will never hear from me, you have to buy my brackets. I have absolutely no financial interest. I don't sell brackets, I don't sell wires, I don't sell anything. I want to show you how we can think out of the box, how we can try to adapt to new technologies, how we can make our toolbox bigger so we can make better and faster, more efficient treatments for our patient, and how we can adapt for new technologies. The only thing, I may be a bad businessman because of that, so maybe I need to arrange some deals, but no, I think not. From Graft, the only company that has offering now direct printed aligned material. I get the material for free, but I also treat my patient with them for free. So that is just to let you know my connection to the Graft company. And also, there is absolutely no Photoshop involved. You will see my patients don't clean so well their teeth. You will see this too. I don't need to change anything on my pictures, okay? Good. That's how I see myself in the world of orthodontics. What is the problem from GeoGenius? You know, we all know the evidence-based pyramid. So, my problem, I'm always at the really bottom. I'm at the expert opinion. And I really try to work my way up, but it's a tough time because I'm single clinician, I work in my clinic, I'm not connected to university. And I was always really depressed about these facts that I cannot make randomized controls, case studies and things like this. But then I met Flavia Artisi from Rio. So Flavia Artisi, the professor, she told me, look Simon, what is going to happen with the evidence-based pyramid if you don't have the base? The evidence-based pyramid is going to flip over. So since then, I'm not so sad anymore. So thanks to Flavia, and please, she's organizing the WFO meeting in October 2025 in Rio. If you have a chance to go there, please visit that place. It's amazing, and Brazil is way better than their reputation. But I will always show you my friends that influence me. I will always name them and show you what they influence me and what I think they can help you as well. Good. I'm based in Switzerland, in the suburb from Bern, so in Belp. That's my clinic, Smile Inc. So because I want to create a smile. So that's me. So if you pass by Switzerland, please feel free to pass by my clinic. And back in 2014, when I planned my clinic, that influenced everything. I was buying right away an intraoral scanner. All my orthodontist friends laughed at me and said, Simon, this is nothing, you cannot use it. Guess who is laughing now? Good. 2016, I got first invited from the Aarhus University in Denmark to give a lecture, then from Björn Ludwig, and then from Benedict Wilmes, and since then, because they thought, hey, you have such cool ideas, you need to show them to the world. Since then, I really lecture all over the world, and it's really great pleasure to stand here to share my ideas with you. And I'm also happy to welcome you, of course, in my place. So if you pass by my clinic, you see Renato Cocconi was here, Ali Darnelaider, Benedict, Uso. I'm really happy to welcome you in my place. Beside orthodontics, you find me in snow. If there is snow and there's no global warming, unfortunately we have a little bit less snow lately, but good. Everybody's talking about disruptive technology. Everybody's talking about fear of missing out when it comes to high tech. But you know what? When we check the history of 3D printing, Jack Hull was doing the first stereolithographic, the first 3D printing back in 1981. The first commercial available 3D printer was 1988. And you know, all the direct-to-consumer aligner companies, they want to tell you, yes, we have the latest, newest aligner, but you know what? Sorry, that was too fast. You know what? We have aligners since 1964. There's nothing new about aligners. I'm sorry. And 1993, the S6 aligner was probably the first one we started to use. You know, remember the one that we need to heat up the pliers and squeeze it and make point pressure points and things like this? Do you know what S6 stands for? No? 6 times S. Sheridan's simple system for stabilizing the social 6. So at least you learned something today from my lecture. So what do I tell you? I tell you JOMO, the joy of missing out. If you want to try something new, don't push yourself too hard. You can ask somebody to maybe deliver it once a week before you start buying new things. Try it first, but there is no hurry. Good. Let's start with direct printed aligners. We need to make 2 parts. First, we need to talk about the production that is really sensitive. And second, I want to share with you some ideas how direct printed aligners can be a bit more than actual thermoformed aligners. Good. 2016, I was asked the first time, Simon, why don't you give a lecture about aligners? And I told them, no way. It's just, for me, it's a waste of time. You print the cast, you vacuum form, this is so bad things, and the environment, you know, there for sure, there is some garbage floating in the ocean as well. So I told them, as long as we don't print aligners directly, I will never talk about aligners. And then people say, yes, Simon, you cannot use aligners, you have no clue about aligners. I love aligners. I can see amazing results with aligners. You can treat periodontal cases with aligners. It's amazing. You can control torque right away. This is 2 years after treatment. Or in trauma cases, where you have a lost upper incisor, you can shape the gum. You can prepare the gum for the implant site, and then you can put the implant crown, and this is 2 years after treatment. Aligners are amazing. You can treat every malocclusion with aligners, but I will come to that later. Good. So far, we were making the staging. Then we were printing the casts. Then we were vacuum forming. So this is like a heavy machine. You can print like 1,000 casts a day without manpower. Then vacuum forming, cutting. Nowadays there are machines that are able to cut. You know, machines in Switzerland are really attractive because manpower is so expensive. I think in Vietnam, manpower is a bit less expensive, so maybe it's easier to have a dental technician. Then that's what we have, the final product. Good. We have some limitation to vacuum forming. We can only make small undercuts because we cannot take the aligner off the cast anymore if we make the big undercuts. We have limited aligner thickness. We cannot make like 1 centimeter thick aligner. That's just not possible. And during the thermoforming process, we stretch the aligner material, so we don't have homogeneous thickness of the aligner. What does this mean? So if we have a vacuum forming process and we stretch the material, it can change up to 54% of its thickness. For you to imagine, when you buy a bed at IKEA, it's 2 meters wide, and you unpack it at home, and it's actually just 1 meter wide. That's the same. And a lot of garbage, I said. When we talk about eco-friendly, it's maybe not a good solution. And I really want to have some extra functions. In 2017, I was printing some casts with a twin block and then vacuum forming a twin block. That was quite okay, and suddenly a company came with the same idea. So I think they probably were spying on me back in 2017. Luckily, I met Unsep Singh in 2021, the CEO from Graphy, and he's the one that is actually producing the first FDA CE approved direct printable aligning material. Take care, there are many materials coming on the market, but be sure that they are really certified and FDA approved before you put them in the mouse. They need to be biocompatible class 2A. Good. This is TC85, the first direct printable aligner material. How do we produce it, the aligner? The aligner, to produce the aligner is like a cookbook, you know? What do we tend to do with a cooking recipe? As soon as we make the recipe, like the third, fourth, fifth time, we tend to add some herbs from granny or something like this, and we make some shortcuts and something else. But I tell you, don't do that. Graft is making research about direct print material since 2018. So there is a reason why they have a specific protocol how you produce your aligner. Don't skip any step, you're gonna harm your patient. The big difference, you were buying the material from the companies, you were just altering the shape. You were buying a biocompatible class 2A product, a finished product. Now you are in charge to hand out a perfect product. That is the big change. You are producing a biocompatible class 2A product that you hand out. And if you don't produce it correctly, it's probably going to harm your patient. Good. But the variability, you can class the digital. Before, you were just making the staging, you were moving the teeth. Now, you are producing the hull on top. We're not talking about the staging from the cast anymore. We are now changing the aligning itself, the hull itself. We can decide how thick we want to design it. We can decide how long, how much movement, everything we can design now on our own. So this is the software, always said before, this is the DAV software from Graphene, Direct Aligning Design software. And you can also change the end of the aligner, how many times your patients were cutting themselves in the gums. So you can design it really smooth. Whatever you think, you can design. So as we know, we need to extend the aligner like 1 to 2 millimeters over the digital margin. So we can do whatever. Then the design, we put it on the right position on the printing platform, the so-called nesting, and then we print it. The software, as I told you, Onyx, DAV, Maestro 3D, and I think like almost every day there are new 3D softwares coming on the market. So I will not tell you what to use, please use whatever you want. If you have a staging software available already and you're doing your own staging, an easy way to test it, you can use the Medic Splint software. So you take your maybe arch form or whatever, you make the staging, you export each file and you put it in the Medic software, you set it to 0.6 millimeter and you print the splint. Now, my friend Kodo in school 7, I think he's showing the future. With augmented reality, I think we will just grab the tooth and move them. We will not have the computers we are using right now. I think this is the way we will going to plan sooner or later our aligners and our treatment. When we print the aligner, that's the outcome. You can see with the support, the aligner looks really yellowish at the moment because it's not light cured yet. You take it off the platform. Please take care, use gloves, because the material, as long as not light cured, the material can affect your skin. Please take care, use gloves. Unless the product is finished, it can be harmful for the skin. And also the air. Please use the printer in a well-ventilated area, maybe use some purifiers, some air purifiers. You will see there is no 3D printable material that smells actually healthy, you know. Then, the problem, when we print the aligner, and we have on the inside a drop of the liquids, and we light it like this, then this drop on the inside will become hard, and the aligner will not fit. So we need to put it in the spinner, and we need to be aware that all the liquid is gone put the aligner inside out, start the spindle so all the liquid is going away. It's like 20-30 seconds and then the liquid is gone completely. Afterwards you take the supports off and you put it in the light curing device. The light curing needs to be under nitrogen. Why? Because if there's oxygen available, the monomers will bind to the oxygen and will not bind to each other, and the free radicals can harm your patient. So always light curing under nitrogen. That's the correct way. Nice and clean. What is wrong here? I always keep on making the same example. If you heat up a bowl of rice in the microwave, it takes 1 minute. If you heat up 1 kilo of rice in the microwave, it takes you 20 minutes. UV light is absorbed by the aligner. So if you light cure at the same time, like for 4 aligners, you like 20 aligners, you will not light cure everything properly. So don't do that, okay? And really important from Vietnam, I think, you have quite a high humidity, air humidity. So what I can recommend you, buy industrial moisture filter, and between the compressor and the light curing device, put this moisture filter. What can happen? If your aligner is a bit hazy when you finish with the light curing, then there was probably a bit of humidity in the air. So this is a good way to avoid this. My friend Ignacio from Chile, he told me this. So that is also, he has always good ideas. If you have questions, he's more taller than me. So if you have questions about dry printing, you can write him also. He knows a lot about it. And then in the end, the more clean and clear it looks, the better. This one, yellowish, is not good light cured. The white one is perfectly light cured. So if your technician is doing it, or maybe your nurse, put a picture with a perfect aligner in front of them so they know this is maybe not good. So they have right away a way to compare. And then polish some excess from the supports, boil it with hot water, and then you can hand it out to your patient. So this is the production way, from scan till hand out of the patient. And Graffi has a strict protocol. Please follow this protocol. If you find the protocol online, or send me a message if you want to have it, and you don't have it, send me a message, I can send it to you. Good. And then of course we have always ideas. You know, with one bundle, you can probably print 100, 110 aligners. It's quite okay. But if we could skip the supports, we could print even more. So my friend Tigant, he just prints with like 5 supports. That is awesome. We save so much material. So in the near future, depending on our printers, we will be able to skip supports. That will be great. Good. Vacuum forming versus direct printing. Printing of cast, printing of the aligners, post-processing, and then that was it. So we skip steps from our working way. That's important. Less manpower. Give it some more years in Vietnam, and you have also bigger costs in manpower, for sure. And less garbage. But even though I talk about high tech and I talk about direct printed aligners, let me play the devil's advocate. I think this is probably still less garbage, or not? Maybe we should tell that to our patients as well. Good. There's a new material coming out from Graffi. So at the moment, I told you already, the production is quite sensitive. So the new material, I hope, is less sensitive, so it will be easier to produce for you, and has also quite interesting new properties. So, but actually, I think it should be available in Vietnam soon. But this, I think this will, TC85 was the first material, but for sure not the last. Maybe Graffi was like Elon Musk with electric cars, it's the same. They will be the first one, but for sure not the last one. Good. People ask me, Simon, why do you use it? Because it's more accurate. When you print directly the aligner, I told you already, we don't have a stretching from the thermoforming process. We don't have undercuts from the vacuum forming process. The aligners are just not able to go in every undercut, in every shape. And the direct printed aligner material covers every section of the tooth. And this is really important. The more the aligner is touching the tooth surface, the more engaged the tooth surface is, the more force you can deliver from the aligner to the tooth. But there's a nice side effect from this aligner material. It has shape memory. So if you put it in really hot water, it becomes really soft. And at body temperature, it goes back in shape. So I usually tell my patient before they put it in the mouth, rinse it with hot water. You don't need to have boiling water. It needs to almost burn your hands. Then it's good temperature. It becomes really soft. You click it on, and when you put it the first time in the mouth, you are shocked because in the molar area it's like standing off like this. But give it 2-3 minutes, and you can see how the shape is going back and grabbing the tooth. So this is amazing. And when you see the comparison from conventional thermoformed aligner, the under stress, and the shape memory aligner, you can see it goes back in shape. It looks almost like nighttime. When we have nighttime screen, you see over time how is uprighting again. I think the main question as orthodontists that we ask us right away, okay, we have a nighttime spring. We need to know how much force can we deliver. So this is actually something we need research. At the moment, we don't have research on this. I'm really curious how much movement we can achieve with this shape memory. And again, please do the light curing on the nitrogen. There's a lot of testing, so the more clear, the better, because of the cytotoxicity. We have Teodoro Eliades is talking a lot about this, so luckily he didn't find anything. And there's a legion from 3D printing materials. So he was talking about urethane. Give me a sec. I always have a problem with this word. Urethane dimethacrylate. So they find some UDMA, but they found 29 to 96 micrograms per liter. So I was curious what this urethane dimethacrylate is. This is actually a photopolymerization material that we have in all our fillings. So when you see John 2020, who is doing research about how much in the material can affect us, or can affect our body, our cells. So they find out that 10 to 100 micromoles can induce cytotoxic effect. So I'm not so good in chemistry, so I tried to make some calculation. So urethane dimethacrylate, 1 mole, remember we have here 10 to 100 micromoles. So 1 mole has 470 grams. Then when we calculate 100 micromole in 1 liter, is 47.06 grams. So what if they found in HLO is 0.0029 grams per liter. So we are far away from a cytotoxic reaction actually. And also with aging, in vitro aging and body aging had no effect luckily. And this is really important, this article from Marco Migliorati and Giovanni Battista, they really show that it's important to follow the steps. If you're not sure if your aligner is perfect that you hand out, you can make it FTR, a Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, if you can check if there is something that can harm your patient. If you don't light cure your aligners properly, you will have at 810 wavelengths, you have this spike, okay? When your aligner has this spike, it will have a dermatologic reaction in your patient. The better you light cure it, the less you have this spike. This is something that you need to check. If you still have a reaction, I had one patient, she had in total 24 aligners, she was reacting on aligner number 6 in the lower jaw. What happened? She wrote me in the morning, Simon, I put the new aligner last night, and she had swelling. So I told her, take it out, take some anti-inflammation medication, antihistaminic medication, and Wait until it goes back and continue with the next aligner. Number 6 in the upper jaw, no problem. Number 7 in the lower jaw, no problem. So after 24 hours, she had no more symptoms, but inform your patient. If you hand out these aligners, they should stop right away. If they keep on wearing, they feel something weird and they keep on wearing. It's like a poking wire from your braces. They also call you and come to you if they have a poking wire. That is important. It's the same here. Inform your patient. If there's something going on, stop, inform you, wait till it's gone, and keep continuing with the next one. Okay? And if you read something in social media, if I put it in the oven for 1 hour, you will become way better. Don't do it. I told you again, the protocol of the production is due to research since 2018. Follow the protocol. Good. Follow the protocol. If we want to do aligners, we need to always ask ourselves, when you just print aligners, when you just buy a printer, is that done? Are you really aware, if you want to do in-house aligners, what you really need? This article from Neil Kravitz showed us that there actually most of the patients with aligner takes up to 2-3 refinements and up to 2 years maybe. So, you need to calculate manpower. You will not be the one using your 3D printer. We are orthodontists. It doesn't make sense that we waste our time on the printer. We make a long education to become orthodontists. We are overpaid for that, okay? We do have technicians that can do that for them. They were always orthodontic technicians that were doing the appliances for us. We need to rent a location. We need to buy the printers. And we cannot buy just one printer, because if that printer is broke, you need to have another one. So you need to buy at least 2 printers. Then you need to buy the material. You need to buy the software. You need to have the license fee every year. So before you just start to buy a printer, please go through everything, calculate everything, if it is really worth for your clinic to do it or not. Otherwise, you can just outsource it. In Switzerland, for me, it will never be a return on investment if I would do it in-house. So in Switzerland, it's common that you outsource it, because the costs of manpower in Switzerland are so high, I could never handle it. So here, of course, I can make a bit of advertising for my friend, Viet-Huang, so he's over there. If you want to try direct printed aligners, just send him the files, he can prepare them for you, print them for you, so you can try it first before you buy yourself everything. I would recommend that to you. Try it first before you invest all the money, okay? Good. Now, let's have a look what you can do more than with regular aligners. Let's rush to some aligners, okay? Just regular cases, a bit of crowding, 12 aligners, 0.5 millimeters thickness, and she was changing like every 10 days, so that was nice and easy, okay? This is from Viet-Huang also, easy case, and you can see the shape. You can shape it as you want it. And I told you, it looks thicker on the incisal edge because it's the same thickness on the incisal edge as well. 12 aligners, 0.5 millimeters during 3 months, and this was the result. Thanks Viet again for these pictures. This case as well, 9 aligners, 0.5 millimeters thickness, 2 months, 1 week wear, and this is after treatment. So, this is from my. Did you notice there were no more attachments? At the beginning, 2021, when I started with direct printed aligners, I was using attachments a lot. My latest cases, I have no more attachments. So this case is one early case. You can see here, crowding, bit of crowding. I put an attachment in the lower front, 7 aligners, 0.7 millimeters thickness, and after like 3 months it looked like this. You can see there is still a gap left, so I need some more aligners to close this gap. Good. Keep that gap in mind. I will come to that gap later. Let's have a look about the options we have in one job, and then the options inter-arch, intermaxillary. So, when we go just in one job, we can make different force levels with different thickness. We can change the shape. We can change every local area of the tooth. And you can see, like this latest article in Progress in orthodontics, you can change everything. What is my problem with these new articles? Everything is in vitro and finite element. So we don't have actually research in vivo. We really need research where we can compare what we can do. So I hope there are many university professors here that want to make some research. So I hope this will, in 1 or 2 years, we have way more knowledge. So you can see, we can make it thicker in one tooth, or we can make it thicker in like 2 or 3 tooths. At the moment, we don't know how far we need to extend. If you want to have more force on one tooth, do we need to go on 3, 4 tooths to have a strong, bigger force there? We don't know yet. Then we can add some pressure points. You remember the S6 appliers again, to heat it up, squeeze a point. So that's the same. We can design it different, you can see it in incisor, and the cool thing is from the outside, you don't see anything. You can add some material, but remember, when you want to, with a direct print aligner that is fitting really well, if you want to push the tooth to one side, you need to leave some smaller space on the opposite side, so the tooth can actually move, a negative attachment. Then, extrusion. You know, I'm like twice per month at a congress, and I see so many aligner speakers, and they have fantastic cases. It's amazing. And I was always going out so depressed because my cases were just not that spectacular. I have so many problems. My extrusion never worked in the laterals. And they have cases that was like, whoa. But luckily, also, this shows that actually more orthodontists have problems. Half of the orthodontists have problems with lateral extrusion. So I was really relieved when this article came out. What can we do? Usually we put huge attachments on the lateral. But now, we can just plan a wedge in the interdental space, and we can grab the tooth, and we can grab it and extrude it better. So this is fantastic. We can make the circular area tighter, so it grabs the tooth better. But remember the case before? I want to close the space here. 3 aligners, 0.7 millimeter thickness, nothing happened. Why? Because of the printing process, it went into the interdental space, so even though I was pushing the teeth together, because of the material interdental, the space was not able to close. So now again, 3 aligners later, with a 0.1 millimeter gap cervical, and I was able to close the space. So if you want to make space closure, take care that you make the undercuts away. This one the same, 8 aligners, 0.5 mm thickness, and a gap again cervical, so the aligner is not going into this area. Elastic hooks, you can print them directly. You can make a horseshoe trap, so to extrude one single tooth. This is from Digant. There's also really crazy ideas. If you want to have a staging course with Onyxef, he's the man for you. He gives really comprehensive courses. That is awesome. He can show you every trick in Onyxef. That is amazing. So, extrusion, you can print the hook, so it's more comfortable for the patient. You know, the cutouts sometimes are disturbing our patients. And I'm sure you can also print them smaller. Then, of course, this hook, you don't need to design it every time. You can save it once and you reuse it again. How often did your technician or your nurses were mixing up the aligners from your patients? Many times, I guess. So now you can just print the name, the number on the aligner directly, so you're never going to channel and mix them up. Let's have a look now into maxillary. Let's have a look at sagittal. You can produce some Mara wing-like wings. And at this time, I have to be honest, these wings, the wings were really solid. The area around the wings was 0.7 millimeters thick. So I had this transition from the solid wing to the aligner, I had many breakage. Okay, so this transition you need to make it smoother, so you don't have a too hard mix from really thick to thin, so it doesn't break. You can do a twin block, of course. A twin block, as I have many kids in my clinic, I think nowadays I have almost only kids. I have almost no more adults. Believe me, it's a dream. I love to work with kids. I don't know how you have it, but with adults it's sometimes a bit difficult. This one here, do you see my mistake I did? Remember, the incisal edge, the aligner stays thick. So my patient was actually biting on the incisal edge and she was going off away from the functional blocks. So that was my mistake. So these blocks were for nothing. I had to throw them away. I had to redo everything with higher blocks so that this decolcation was actually working. And then, of course, like Tom Clark, make the blocks parallel. What is amazing in the digital world as well, I have this emerging tooth. So instead of doing like, let the patient come in every 2 weeks, make a new aligner, I just told them, let's copy the other premolar. And let's move the other premolar in the emerging side from the other premolar. This is the brave new digital world, no? This is amazing. You can save so much time. And then the tooth, you can see the prepared space, and then it's coming up. You can plan like this, your line right away. Of course, you can design the shape of your twin box like whatever you want to, but you have fun with it. This is from yet one also. And then you can do a functional appliance. The good thing is, functional appliance you usually use with kids, and kids they tend to lose them, to stand on it, and this material is a bit soft. Hooks, you can use hooks, you can print them directly again. But remember, we have a force that will take the aligner off the tooth. So if you don't have a part that goes below the equator of the tooth, you will lift off the aligner. So then you need to put some attachments. Or, if you like, you can of course put a bracket directly on the tooth as well. So everything you were doing before with your aligners, with the thermoforming lines, you can still do with the direct print aligners. There's no need to think that you can don't do it the other way around. In the vertical, so far thermoforming of our aligners were reducing our ability to make big bite ramps. Because when the bite ramps were too big, you could not take off the vacuum formed aligner off the cast. But with direct printing, we can print a platform as large as we want to. And this one was a patient, I tried to change the canting of the planar material, but I didn't take care of the edge. So it was too sharp edge and the patient was not wearing it. How are the Vietnamese patients? They're really good, they wear the aligners 24/7 or not? No, thanks. I'm glad to hear that too. So, when you make it solid block on the palatal side of your incisors, your force level will be maybe too big. So then you can make it a space. There's no need to join it completely with the surface of the line. If you have a clenching patient, you need a mission splint. You can do this as well. This is my patient. I have to be honest with you, TMJ is not my specialty. I'm really not Andrea Michelotti or somebody else that are amazing for this. So I'm happy for everybody else that is way better than me for this. Nowadays we have Mojo or other digital things to check our occlusion. I think Sachin Chapwani, he's amazing for this high-tech thing. So he's controlling the articulation with Mojo. He has amazing cases. So. In the transversal, remember, I showed you that this shape memory can deliver force. So I was really curious if we can expand. So I tried this case, I was planning. You need to remember, if we want to expand the palate with the upper jaw, we don't make the upper jaw bigger, we make it more flat. So we need to remember that when we plan it, we need to plan the aligner flat, okay? But I tried this case, I was not so happy in the end, I had almost edge to edge on the premolar area. I tried 2 millimeters expansion, you can see it here, and then you squeeze it on, put it in hot, put it on the tooth, and I hope that there was expansion force. Unfortunately, this was not strong enough, it didn't work out. So let's have a look at what we can do. We can make a spring. My friend Kibon Kim was doing this case, and he told me he reached 1 millimeter expansion per jaw, per aligner, sorry. So he has a really like a solid arch, a solid TPA. But if we make expansion, you know, with whatever, when we can put the expansion screw, we always will have only a buckle tipping. I know there are big companies that try to tell us with a line we can expand them. Say, no, we cannot. We only tip the teeth, okay? Don't believe everything the industry is telling you. You know, I'm really sad. This expansion problem is just like aligning, printing, and other things. It's not new. This was 1955, come on. And we're still here and doing the same mistakes again and again and again just because industry is telling us they can do it. I'm sometimes a bit frustrated. Of course, you can try to expand in the lower jaw. You know, when you have tipped canines, you can try to expand them. You can make like a bar. But also, this patient was really not compliant. He was just not wearing the aligner. So, I think you can treat every malocclusion, but you just cannot treat every patient. Okay, in my opinion. This patient, that was a regular aligning case. I started 2019 in September. This was June 2020. This was December 2020. You cannot treat every patient, it's just not possible. But, you know, St. Lidwood, if patients don't wear retainers or aligners, we haven't done a good enough job to motivate them. So probably I have to think about my motivational skills. He's amazing. St. Lidwood, I think Padraig Fleming is coming in September here. So St. and Padraig, they're usually doing about retention, they're amazing. If you have a chance to listen to them, they're just awesome. Good. You can also combine tats with aligners. I have this case where I just want to retract the front a bit, and then I have to rethink how can we make the dimension of them out of the tat. So I just want to click them on. So the aligner on the tooth, 0.5 millimeters thickness, 0.7 at the palate, and get thicker around the tats. Then I retract the teeth, the front teeth, and sorry, I took out this picture obviously. So what else with direct printed aligners? So far with thermoform aligners, you just have like a simple knife, okay? I think with direct printing of aligners, we have like the Swiss Army pocket knife. You have way more options. We don't know how many options we actually have and how many of these options really are efficient and helping us. So I am looking forward, we have a great future now with the direct printing of aligners. If somebody fell asleep so far, please have a look at JCO. I was talking with Kibon Kim about the options we have, so this is last August. Take home message from direct print aligners. We have a better fitting, we have a high elastic range, we have lighter forces, we can change the aligner thickness. I would recommend 0.5 to 0.7 millimeters. Please make it as tight as possible to the tooth surface. Fewer to no attachments. If you don't feel comfortable without the attachment, just put the attachment as you did before. But try some without attachments, really, it's amazing. I was also really suspicious. Then as many various thickness and pressure points as you need. Rotation, if you don't put any extra strong part, make it 1 degree. If you have some pressure points and pressure areas, then you can make bigger steps. Space closure, remember, don't go in the interdental space, leave a big space so you can close the space. Follow strictly the production guidelines, this is really important. Check regularly the printing outcome, please. If you're a nurse or technician, in-house employee, you are in charge. You are the one the patient will blame if you make a problem. And enjoy the reliability. It's amazing. I think direct printing aligner will be the only aligner treatment after this in some years. We will have way more material options for sure. So I'm sure this is the only way. Ready for the last part? Everybody asleep? Good. Again, same 3D metal printing. We will now talk about the production and we will talk about some appliances. Good. From the production, we have commercial planning, we need to talk about the materials, we need to talk about the printing process itself. So, when you plan an appliance, we need to have 4 different elements. Number 1 is the bonding site on the tooth, our connection to the tooth. We need to have a connection to an extra device for the expansion screw, for example. Then, because these appliances are really smooth, we need to have small spikes where we can grab the appliance for bonding. And, of course, elements that we want to add later on, we need to prepare them virtually. So we need to have 4 elements. The expansion screw. Nowadays, every big company will be happy to offer you their material as STL files so you can add them on your appliances. Okay? Because they want to sell their screws, of course. So you can write them, please only send me the STL file for your screw or write for the rest of them, and they will be happy to share it. In Onyx Steph, you can plan them. In Appliance Designer, you can prepare the STL file library, so you don't need to reshape a hook or a button or whatever. You can overlap with CBCT, so you can really plan your force direction for every tooth. It's amazing. We have now digitally, we have so many options and we can check in 3D in every direction. That's amazing. Or my friend Alex, what he's doing in the Reno 3D, that doesn't look like an appliance, that looks more like art, no? So, dental software, there are so many available on the market. I would recommend you to use a dental software because you have settings that you can prepare in advance. So your designing is faster than when you use a free 3D software. Of course, you can use whatever free software, but you will maybe take a little more time. If you have fun with 3D virtual planning for your appliances, please do it yourself. But if you don't like it, outsource it as well. Again, our time, we are orthodontist, we're not the ones that we don't need to plan the appliance. If you have fun with it, do it, otherwise, give it away. Virtual planning, always when there's something important, you maybe notice there's always my logo in red. We need to have 4 elements. The bonding site, the basic frame, the specific pre-designed elements, like a button or debonding spikes, and an empty space if you want to add a spring or a screw or a tag or whatever. So you need to plan these 4 elements. In the future, again, Guangdong, the future, we will not sit on the computer anymore. We'll just have our glasses. I do think we will have regular glasses. At the moment, they're still quite big. So we'll just design it like this. And I don't think this will take so long. And I'm happy, this is coming from Vietnam, you know? So this is great. 3D metal printing, my favorite one is from Concept Laser. My friend Oleg Eisenstein in Atlanta, United States, he is using the E+. And he's the only orthodontist I know. He's also offering laboratory service for other orthodontists. So he's the only one that is doing metal print aligners in-house. He's the only one I know. Because the machines, they cost still 100 to 150,000 euros, so they're still quite expensive. So that's in-house, not yet maybe. So there are many companies. But all the printers, they just print one material. So imagine how amazing would it be if you can print a basic frame, a stiff material, and then you can just add a night ice cream in the printing process. So far, everything that we want to add, we need to laser weld later. So this is actually a metal printer from Korea that is offering six different materials at once. So it has this, like the piston, has these 6 parts, and you can print in the same process, you can have different properties of metal. How amazing is that? The most well-known materials from Remabungstar, from Dentavum, is a really stiff cobalt-chrome tungsten material, so you cannot alter anything after printing. You will not be able to bend something, you will not be able to add something else. So in the mouth, when you have printed appliance, that's it. So everything you want to have on your appliance, you need to plan in advance. There are also many different materials. So I was changing once, like some years ago, I was changing to another company. I wanted to try a new material. So usually when I order with another company, I usually order with my own company from before, and the new one, I order the same thing, so I can compare it. So which one is the new one and which one is the old one? Is this the one I use classic, or is this the old one? Is this the new one and this the old one? Which one is new and which one do you think? I think on this screen is C. So you can see right away here, there's something weird going on here. And the whole surface looks rough, okay? And when I put it in the mouth of the patient, it was wiggling. So actually, the appliance was breaking in the production process, and they laser welded it, and it looks really brittle and not smoothly polished. So of course, I didn't order any more from this company. And 1 year later, when I met them again, they told me, yes, Mr. Graft, we exchange 50-50 our material with your material. Yeah, thank you very much. Huh? So if you're happy with one company, maybe stay with them. Unless you're really sure that the other company is making a good job. And also here, cytotoxicity is always a topic. Also here, you need to produce a perfect material. Otherwise, you will harm your patient. Luckily, COCR is not a problem, but anyway, sooner or later this will be banned. So you have to change to stainless steel or titanium. Good. When we talk about additive manufacturing, we have many different processes. We can selective laser melt, we can selective laser sinter, we can use binder jetting, we can use electrobeam melting, and we can use direct energy depositioning. There's so many options. So selective laser melting is actually the process, the most perfect process. What does it mean? So the metal, the material comes in powder, and then there is one layer done, and by laser beam is in spot, is welded until it has the shape you want to, and then is the next layer coming. So every particle is melted, joined completely. Okay. So after the printing process, you take away the leftovers and you have your appliance right away. With other printing procedures, you have not the right away the size of your appliance. So selective laser melting is the easiest way and the most secure way to print your appliance at the moment. How does it look like? On one side, you have the powder feeder, is push up, and then you have the small thing that is pushing the material to the other side, and you have the laser welding side on the other side. And the platform, the building platform, is going down, so the laser is never out of focus. With direct energy depositioning, is like the filament fused printer. You have one wire feed or powder feed, and is added on spot. So like the one from Korea with the 6 different materials, so we have a printer using where you have the different powders that comes in. Luckily, I was able to publish about this in the APOS about different metal printing procedures. So, if we print, we first have to position the appliance on the printing platform again. Then we put it in the printer. So this is the laser melting process. New materials coming, and then actually laser weld on spot again. So layer by layer we build up our appliance. That's how it looks like, it's really fancy. Afterwards, we have to take off the excess, the leftover powder, and we can use that powder again, of course. Then that's what we have. The expansion screw is just to show. It's not that expansion screw is not working like this, okay? You cannot print at the moment the screw. I waste a lot of money to try it, believe me. It's not possible at the moment. From here to here is still a lot of work. Again, just like liner printing, also here, remember the post-processing. You need to take it off from the platform. And we're not talking about resin here, just grab it by hand. And then you need to sinter it, take it off, and yes, you take it off like this. You have the supports, you take them off, you polish, you can sandblast, electrochemical polishing. Of course, you can make shortcuts with polishing devices. There's always ways to make it more smooth and easier. Again, what you could save from manpower is better. Most of my technician friends, they use now this D-line polishing device that is really easy. You can just put it in and then it polishes for you. Good. And that's the end. So, Oleg, he's showing off a bit, you know. So, Oleg told me he has 5 minutes manpower in total. I will visit him before the AO in New Orleans and I can tell you then if he was saying the truth or not. So he tells me to design an appliance, it takes him 1.5 minutes. Then selective laser melting, depends. If you have a new platform, one appliance, it takes maybe like 3 to 4 hours. But of course it makes sense, the building platform, to fill it up completely with like 24, 25 appliances at once. So your printer will run 24 hours. You don't let your printer run just for one appliance, that's no point. There's no return on investment in that, okay? Then 1 hour in tumbler, 1 hour magnetic tumbler, 30 minutes D-light. So there is actually no manpower involved. And he told me, yeah, it's changed between the machines, maybe like 3.5 minutes. So that's how he says he has only 5 minutes to produce one appliance. That is massive, no? 5 minutes for an appliance. That is good. If you don't want, you can outsource it to many different companies. To be honest, if I have really a fancy thing, I use Digital, the one in Switzerland. I was starting up everything with them. They are just like art, okay? Of course, they're the most expensive one, but if you want to have something really crazy, really nice, you have to work with them. They can make everything. It's amazing. What did change from 2014 till now? So we have a huge variability. When I start my first appliance, they look more like prostheses. They didn't look like, they look like a armor from the Middle Age, you know, like the knight. We have way more software, way more material options. We have specific planning possibilities. We can have different printers and we can exchange so easily. I think that's the main thing, that we can exchange our knowledge together. There's no point that's just like we build an elite club and we don't want to change ideas and things. How can we all get better when we share together, when we work together, okay? Still the costs depending where you live. So in Switzerland, everything that can be outsourced, I can give to a machine is cheaper. In-house, there are in-house metal printers, but still the post-processing. So I would maybe not recommend to buy it already. Maybe give it 2 or 3 more years. And the cytotoxicity. So if you don't take care about the production, you can still harm your patients. Good. Let's go to the mouth. Let's talk about the bonding and debonding. As I'm not a university clinic, at the beginning 2014, I had so many failures. I had to plan the gap between the appliance and the tooth surface, so many of my appliances fall out. It cost me a lot of money, but I had a lot of fun as well. I had a really good time. So in my clinic, if I have like a distalizer or mini implants, I just use small bony sites, I use an adhesive. For a rapid palate expansion, for a TPA, I use adhesive. If I have large bony sites, like a Herbst appliance, I think in Vietnam you don't use Herbst appliance so much, you have all class 3 I think. So for big bony sites, use cement. Okay? To take off, usually I recommend, when we bond an appliance, we have a lot of excess, so I recommend to take off the excess, then try once with the debonding plier. If it doesn't come off right away, try not to break the cusps. So cut it once, usually when you have a complete band around one tooth, cut it once and then try again to take it off. Don't use force. I cracked like 3 parallel cusps of premolars, so I know what I'm talking. If you want to know, if you want to put first time, send me a message, I can send you my protocol, so you can use it step by step if you want. And that's how I put an expander in the mouth. So you see the NOLA dry feed system, so I have good working space. And you notice there was no ligatures for an interdental space, okay? There was no need to open a space in the interdental area because I don't have a band that goes below the contact point. Take off the excess. So actually, the bonding process itself takes maybe like 1 to 2 minutes. I usually reserve half an hour for a patient to put in an appliance like this. Most of it is talking, and action is just like 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. And then nowadays, to be honest, I just use the finger because I have the best feeling. I just clean it like this. That's all. And then light cure, and that's it. So this is really convenient, really fast. So, what is the good thing about digital? We don't need extra impression. We don't need separation. We have less chair time. Of course, if you have a clinic with like 10 chairs, it is scary because your chairs suddenly are empty. But you have less, because you have less appointments for your patients and the parents. So I think in Vietnam, probably new patients, they also don't have time. In Switzerland, they don't have time anymore to come to our clinics. So this is also quality of life for our patients. In Switzerland, so far for separation, you were making your beginning records, you were making a treatment plan, the patient was coming in, maybe a nurse would even the orthodontist did the separation. This takes like 10 seconds and the patient's going away. And the parents have to take half a day off at work. They cannot afford it. And just for like 10 seconds to separate. And then they come again to take the separation ligatures away, to adapt the molder bands, to make the impression on top of the molder bands, separate again, and then the third appointment you actually put the appliance. So after my records, I can put whatever appliance right away. So there's no extra appointments needed. We don't need to talk just about our time. We need to remember about our patients as well, okay? Let's have a look at some appliances. So this is, I told you, my first article back in 2017. I was really happy because, as I told you, I'm coming from a private clinic and I make it on page all cover. I was really happy about this. And so far, the WFO journal and the seminars, I was able to publish a lot. So this is an expander. I think there's nothing new for you here. It's just a classic expander. Just the production way is a bit faster, a bit easier. And this one, like Mark Rosa is doing it on the baby tooth, over expand to win space for the laterals as well. Not just to correct the crossbite, but to win space in the lateral incisor area. And here, because I'm not so patient sometimes, When I had the undermining resorption, I usually had to put the night tie wire and then later on expand. So I tried this way here with a jig and then a tone crib. But what happened here, what is happening when you expand? Of course, you always take the tooth out of it. So what happened here, during expansion, you can see the molar slip below the jig. That was stupid, okay? Don't try this way. Luckily, I didn't need so much expansion, so it worked out well. So the stupid people have sometimes a bit of luck. And it ended up like this. This is another case. You have some, you can guess right away, Tom, again. Undermining resorption. But here, I got to know the Haltermann arm. Do you know the Haltermann arm? So, there's an arm going on the posterior area of the molar, and you put an elastic power chain to the molar to unlock the molar. And here you have also the tongue tricks, and in the middle you have a small tongue plate. So the tongue has always something to do. So the patient, instead of swallowing, you have the tongue out like this. They train to pull the tongue back. It's in the mouth. And you can see the Haltermann arm, you see the elastic here? Expansion and unlocking of the molar. This is great. I love this. So this is absolutely along with my patient behavior. And I told you, there's no Photoshop. You see, my patient also don't think so. Okay? And when you do a tongue trip, you need to plan together in occlusion. Okay, so they don't interfere with the tongue trip. This is the tongue plate, and this is actually printed at once. So the 3D printer is able to print connected. There is no need to add this toy at the end. It's the same printing process. And it works really well. So this is really cool. Many people are asking me, Simon, why do you expand so early? Because of the functional problem. If a patient is growing like this or biting like this, so you have a growth discrepancy. That's why when a patient is coming in with 7, 8 in my clinic and biting like this, I right away want to expand. Then what can we do? TPA, of course. And this is one with an extra arm from Viet. You can see. You can design everything that crosses your mind. You can design it. It's so amazing about the digital possibilities we have. It's great. Or lingual arch from Noor. You can make a hold. What happens if we have a space? Of course, the teeth try to tip, but you can hold them at the same time and just wait till all the teeth can do. Also, Noor, I don't know, he's also, I don't know if you know him, he's working in Sydney, so he's an amazing guy. If you have the chance to listen to him, he's amazing. Herbst appliance, I think, as I said, is not so attractive here. The cool thing, I never make a construction bite in the anterior position. I just position it digital. As long as you use the jig that allows your patient to move transversal, you can position whatever, but the patient needs to be able to move freely. It's the axis. This is again from the power preformed material. So you right there, they send you the material, and you can just add it on your plans. That's the printout, and you can even see here are brackets. So the printed brackets, metal brackets. I don't intend to have the perfect torque and all these things. At the first moment, I just want to have a place where I can add the wire and I can retract the front piece without intention for perfect torque. So at the moment, if you want to have metal printed bracket with perfect torque, we need to cut it and polish it. This is a case with Herbst appliance, after Herbst appliance, and in total this was like, I think, 20-21 months. Of course you can do way more. You have to take it out. I told you, please cut your bands and take it out like this. That's the best way. Cutting off the bands, and you don't need to worry about breaking a cusp or something like this. I really recommend this. With herbs appliance, there are some moments your patient's gonna hate you. This patient is really bad cleaner, so oral hygiene was really bad, so I knew I need to be really fast. I tried to do everything at once again, no patience at all. So I sent this patient out like this in class 3. He started to expand by himself, and 2 months later he became like this. So they're gonna hate you for a while, but it's also really efficient. Afterwards, and it took me 18 months, and I was really happy there was no decalcification because he was really bad. I was really like on him the whole time. So, of course, you can design whatever. If you have a missing teeth, I think John, he was showing before heroic cases. I'm not that heroic. If I have a canine like this laying somewhere, I usually tend to take it out and close the space. With the herbs appliance, you can plan this the same moment. So during you position the anterior jaw to the front, you can close the space at the same time. Or you have a missing premolar, you can use the time of the herbs appliance also to close spaces. I'm glad I was able to publish with Björn Ludwig in the book from Hans Panchertz just before he died. So this is unfortunately only in German available at the moment. Let's have a look at some more modern appliances. If you make this, it looks like magic for the clients. Yes, I do put mini implants in 7 to 8-year-old kids. I do think the problem is the bone and not the teeth. When I can alter everything just in changing the bone, then I think that's a good thing. And usually when I show the patients and the parents, I show the big expander on the tooth, and this has the size of a thumbnail. They usually choose this one here. So, with mini implant positioning, you have 1-step protocol and 2-step protocol. In 1 step, you just plan the tag positioning, we have a splint to put the tags, and we have the appliance right away. So if you have no time, you use this way. In my clinic, with 2 visits, I use 2 visits. Why? Because I have less errors. Because metal print appliance, we cannot bend them. So the appliance needs to fit perfectly. If you have a mistake in putting the tags, then the appliance will not fit. So that's why I prefer, in my clinic, in my hands, again, lowest level of the evidence-based pyramid, in my hands, 2-step protocol is the easiest. I put the implants, I make a 3D scan, and I put the appliance the next time. So I use an implant system that has a small fixation screw that I fixate in the appliance. You can see the scan is maybe not that accurate along the mini implant, so your technician can put a digital analog. So instead of the Gibson cast with a lab analog, it is digital, just the same thing. So that is what I use the most, mini implant system with a fixation screw. So you add the appliance and you fixate the small screw. My technicians got a bit lazy nowadays. They have just a ring. They don't replace the mini implant with an analog. They just have the ring and they just position it right away. So this ring, you grab it from the digital disaster file library and you add it on the screw. You can go and check everything. You design on the appliance. And because of the fixation screw, when you make the fixation screw, when you tighten the fixation screw, or when you unlock the fixation screw, you can also lose the mini implant. So this small wing is holding the mini implant, so you don't move the mini implant. You can see this small wing is going over the neck from the mini implant, so it's not turning. This is with the PSAM benefit system, you can see it here. Otherwise, if you're going to use the ortholog system, for example, so what is the difference from the ortholog system? The ortholog system, the neck has 6 edges. So the technician is preparing the ring with 6 edges. You can see the implant. And you print it like this. In the printout it's not so well see the 6 edges. and you can put it in the appliance on top. You put the fixation screw, and that's how it works. So these appliances, in my clinic again, they need to fit right away. I don't waste 1 minute to adapt an appliance like this. If the appliance is not like fitting right away, there's no point in trying. There you cannot bend it, you cannot adapt it. If it's not fitting, scan again, make the appliance new. There's no way. I was able to publish with Benedict and Siva back in 2018. And if you want to make a distalization, I like to have the screw. You can make the expansion, you can make distillation, extrusion, intrusion a bit. And again, the bonding site, basic frame, prepared space for the distillation screw, and the onyx spike. The 4 elements I told you need to plan virtually. And luckily, this, you see the position of these tabs. I told you, I'm just a regular orthodontist. I had a bad Monday, so that was terrible how I put this implant. Nowadays, I just put a paramedium anyway, and this is, yeah. Luckily, the technicians were able to fix my problem. Distalization, aligning, retract the canines. And I know, sometimes we orthodontists, we tend to feel like world champions. Are we not? We are moving teeth. We are not heart surgeons. We are moving teeth. But for kids like this, we are superiors. Of course, you can also make indirect anchorage. You can plan a tat, and then you can just distalize the whole thing. You can make design like whatever you want to again. And you can do a mesializer, of course. This patient had a missing premolar in the upper jaw, and then the patient was turning and pushing the tooth to the front. And you know, some patients just don't feel when there's something wrong. So she keeps turning here, you can see it, and it came loose. So when she was mesializing, she was pushing out the molar of the tube of the bone. So luckily, she came in early enough, so I noticed, so I was able to fix it again. So, but that was tight. So sometimes we need to be aware that our patients are really coming in for their appointments, depending what we're doing. And then also here, on one side, class 2, the midline not perfect, a bit to the right, yeah, otherwise quite okay. Of course, we can always do more. So, in this case here, we have the distalizing expansion, we have the impacted canine. I feel like a hero here. Distalize. She had a midline shift, so I was distalizing on both sides. Expansion, get the canine in place, and that was also quite good. For bone-borne appliances, my clinical experience so far, for distalizing, use a screw. For mesializing, take a slider. Why? We are mesializing, the arch form is getting more narrow. So when you mesialize with a spring and you release the tooth some movement, so it will move intercorticalis in the middle. When you have a screw and a more rigid guidance, we can push the roots against the cortical bone, so maybe we don't have such a good movement to the mesial. Take care of the force direction, you can plan everything, so take care. And plan push coils. With closing coils, springs have always less force. Somehow with push coils is so easier. I've never ever tried to adapt a metal printed appliance by bending. It will either you cannot bend it or it will break. Of course, you can always do more and more and more. So to extrude, if you want to have a crown, Lutz sent me this material, you want to extrude the leftover of the tooth. You can print this device and extrude, or in the aesthetic zone. Who's telling you need to use metal? You can use a crown resin and then extrude to prepare later on for a crown. And then retention phase, so the fibers and the bone can come down and keep growing. So there's always a way more. So your imagination is the limit for what you can do. Take home message. All men appliances are 3D printed. Don't underestimate pre and post processing. We have so many in-house possibilities if we want to. Specific, hopefully better planning, time saving for our patients, knowledge exchange. When you remember, when you were taking the cast and the x-rays with you to a friend, you always have like a huge package with you. Nowadays, you just exchange by email. That's so fast. Stay curious. Embrace new technologies and possibilities. Either we go with time or we go with time. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you didn't enjoy so much. If you want, I have 5 more minutes for you for what I see for our close future. You tell me. Who wants to go out or who wants to see? Does it mean okay, then 5 more minutes. The future, or not?
Yeah,
you
thanks a
will
lot.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your very beautiful presentation. Now for question and answer. Như vậy chúng ta vừa nghe một cái bài của bác sĩ Silvano về cái công suất y trực tiếp viêm mới. Thì cho hỏi các quý hội thảo viên ở trong hội trường chúng ta có ai có câu hỏi không ạ? Xin nào có ai có câu hỏi không ạ? Yeah, I see other. Thanks a lot for the presentation. On behalf of international association, I'm smoking for you.
Thank you.
You have more
minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. Now, good. So the near future, to be honest with you, I see some black clouds coming at the horizon. Why? AI. What does AI mean? Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence means that with some algorithm, the computer is able to identify other data problems, collect them, and with so-called data mining from other problems that we were solving to compare with our actual problem and to come out with a good treatment plan. What we are doing right now, we are having the CEF, we are having the cost in our pictures, we have the behavior of the patients, we know how they interact with us. So we are out of this, we are conclude our treatment plan. But the problem is, computers will be way faster with this than we are. So, but from this, from the nice, shiny digital world, at the moment we still have, luckily, a huge gap to get it into the mouth. How can we solve this gap? So you know Schomach, he's a crazy guy, he's amazing what he thinks about the future. I think you need to listen to him, he's amazing. So we have new technologies. So new technologies, we can be augmented reality. In 2018, I was trying already, in 2014, I was trying already Google Glass. At this time, they were way ahead of time. So nowadays, with augmented reality, instead of making indirect moment tray, we can actually position our brackets virtually and have it in the glasses. So we can sit with the Googles in front of the patient, we put the bracket, and as soon as it goes green, we can let it go. So we don't need enough indirect bonding trays. We don't need to print indirect bonding trays anymore. So again, this one here, that was just today. So these glasses are augmented reality, so it means I can see through, plus I see extra elements. So the computer will identify the tooth from the patient and tell me where to put it. So these are the HoloLens from Microsoft. This is a cool tool, and you can see just over there, repulse number 7 from HoloDentist, Guangzhou. You should have a look. We don't need to print either pocket trays anymore. Khaled Aburazam in the World Federation of Orthodontics Journal, he was showing the HoloLens are not cheap, they're like $3,500. But he was trying with the smartphone. So when you have your smartphone, you have plans the positioning of the bracket virtually. You have in your smartphone the right position, you hold it on the teeth, and you can see where to put the bracket. So this is also really achievable from money-wise. What does this mean? You can train somebody from the street, 2 days, and after 2 days they can put the bracket for you. We have robotics. You know this yogi dental? That is a robot arm. One is holding the jaw, one is putting the implant. There is still somebody who needs to guide it. But if you move wrong your hands, the robot will block your hand so you can only put the implant on one side. Why does this robot need someone? Because of insurance policies. It's not allowed the robot to put an implant right now. And then for orthodontics, you all know the bending tool from Yacht, the bending robot for the retention wire. So Benders 3 actually is offering finishing wires. So you can just throw the bracket on the teeth, level a line, and after 3 months you make a scan. And the computer's recognizing, I'm talking and you don't see anything and nobody tells me. I see everything here, sorry. And nobody says anything. Oh, come on. So, let's quickly go back. So this is the, now you can see it. You see the cast is printed and the brackets are just virtually in the glasses. You can see everything. The glasses are see-through, so you see the teeth. But as I said, you can do it with your with the smartphone also. So you have a color check if you have brackets in the right position. Robotics, this is the implant robot. And this is the bender. And bender 3, I hope you can see, is recognizing the brackets from your bracket library, and then it's making the finishing wire for you. So the problem with AI and high tech, it needs to scale the orthodontics industry. That's also a problem. But luckily, I do see some light at the horizon as well for us. We need to adapt to modern technology. There's no way around it. The final treatment decision will be in our hands. We still will be the one collaborating with our patients. So we'll be still the one making psychology patient guidance. And we will notice if a patient is not wearing his alignment, we need to change the braces. That will be still in our hands. And we will see a large number of patients, maybe virtual or remote. But also for us, it's scalable. We will also be better in our treatment plans, not just the industry, ourselves as well. And the clinical work at the moment will be still done by humans, luckily. So, thanks again, and I'm sorry that you didn't see the pictures before. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thanks a lot for your very